think that looks about right. Laplace, no, kilo. Alright, so I did this for my Elysian crew, so I figured I'd go ahead and do this for my Missilis crew. And to be entirely honest with you, my Missilis crew is literally every fucking where. So currently with the team, it has 733. Actually, it was sitting at 731, so I'm not too sure where the increase in power might have come from. This team composition for the Missilis Tower has been like literally everywhere. So for a while, I want to say, I think I was, I don't know, just to give an idea. I think my team composition probably revolved somewhere around having either Jackal or Pepper. I think it was Pepper. And then I don't remember who my Burst 2 was. It might have been Uni or Sinti. And then whenever I got Guilty, and then I replaced whoever my Burst 2 was at the time with that. But I think for a while it was Pepper, Guilty, and then Epinel. And then I think Sinti, and then Drake. And then eventually everybody else kind of started creeping up. And then when Elegg came around, I replaced whoever my other Burst 2 was at the time, which I think it might have been Sinti. And then eventually Leader, and then Kilo. And then it's kind of where the squad is sitting right now. The reason why I tell you this is because my tower has not been very consistent in any way, shape, or form. It's been all over the fucking place. Often at times I will actually auto assemble a crew, and it will most likely default to my top units, which I think is kind of like Jackal, Sinti, and then whoever else falls in line. I think out of everyone in the original crew, Epinel is the only one that's actually stayed around. So, yeah. So, why I use this team composition and why in this order. So, the way it goes is it's Elegg, then Leader, Laplace, Epinel, and then Kilo. The main reason being is because Kilo's gigantic. Ever since the release of Kilo, for whatever idiot reason, they have not bothered to give us some sort of transparency sort of thing or to hide Kilo and leave the weapon or whatever, so it's a little bit of an issue. I can't even aim with Kilo. That's just how bad it is. Unless I put Kilo on the very far left-hand side where Elegg is, and that's fine, but I like aiming from the left to the right, and aiming from the right to the left is just a little bit weird on my end. So, as far as I'm aware of, all these Nikkes do have some form of SR treasure, except for Laplace, who has maxed out treasure. So Elegg is range. She's probably one of the very few Nikkes that I think have actually gone through an extensive reroll of every single Overload piece of gear that I've had, till I eventually got max ammo capacity. Max ammo capacity is, in my opinion, one of the most important pieces of Overload stats you should have for a machine gunner. Unless they're a last bullet effect, which in case I think the more ammo is better than the last bullet effect. I think this headpiece has probably been re-rolled more times than I can count. This has probably been re-rolled more times than I can count. This also has been re-rolled, and this has pretty much been re-rolled for sure. I've invested very heavily into the fucking gear, so I can tell you that much. I do not have super success with this, but that's quite fine. I eventually will. Stats have largely, if not entirely, remained the same. Elegg is pretty good when it comes to boss fights as well as general stage clearing. Just being able to mow down fodder is pretty good. If you're not paying attention to the first skill, which increases the damage that you deal to projectiles from the enemies that they launch, like Modernia with the bomblets, Blacksmith again with the bomblets, Altizen with the rocket barrage, Land Eater with the bomblets as well, but those are actually relatively easy to take out. This is very, very good. I like having this. I kind of make her my designated projectile killer when it comes to the Altizen fights, and everybody else has just an easier time to take out these projectiles. Everything else about it is just pretty much relatively okay. The buzzwords for distributed damage and shit like that is who gives a shit? It's just something I think Shipped Up has no clue how to actually implement correctly into the game. Increasing overall damage based on her attack, hence why I increased her stats. So that way, skill 2 actually does work out fairly well. Filling out the burst gauge during a target that appears, pretty solid. Especially when I go into a boss fight, it's immediately ready. Just the problem is that there's actually kind of a flow, rhythm when it comes to bursting. You make sure you actually can burst when it's absolutely necessary, or when the boss is about to launch an attack and you want to burst ASAP between there. Have full control of your squad and etc. and whatnot. So this isn't too bad. I do like this. It's just that during a boss fight, it's just this is a one-time ability. Kind of who gives a shit. In general stage clearing, it's pretty solid, so I like it. Other than that, everything's all right. It's pretty good. Just the main takeaway is that the main thing is machine gun, have range. PC or mobile with 60 frames a second, machine guns rip through enemies like nothing tomorrow. Shoot down projectiles really, really fast. Have the best accuracy, meaning they can always hit the core. Not always, but they can almost hit the core almost 100% of the time. So that's pretty good. I like it. Unfortunately, she's my only burst too, so there's a bit of a problem with that. She is sporting the Wingman Q, so there's that. And I want to say, I think out of like friendship pulls and whatnot, she's the only one that keeps constantly showing up, so that's pretty awesome. Leader was the friendship pull from a long time ago, and quite frankly, I don't care too much for Leader. I really don't. But the thing is, though, if I replace Leader with somebody else, then I'm not actually getting. It's complicated for the most part. So even if I don't have Leader, my damage kind of suffers. Even if I have Leader, my cooldown reduction suffers. And the reason why I say that is mostly because this team composition doesn't actually generate, burst generation fast enough to actually really warrant a cooldown reduction. But at the exact same time, when it doesn't matter during a boss fight, then that's where actually cooldown reduction comes into play. I do think that you should have cooldown reduction for general stage killing if you know how your burst generation is working. If you are generating too much burst, get a cooldown reduction. If you're not generating enough burst, then you probably don't need cooldown reduction. But there are ways to fix that. She does have an SR doll. It's pretty solid. In case you don't know what that does, it gives I think it gives more HP to cover. Yeah, right here, and reduces the damage taken. This is relatively mediocre, and this kind of actually helps a little bit. Other than that, I say relatively mediocre. I am actually trying to build Leader for more offensive capabilities, more ammo, more attack. I definitely would like to get more hit rate, which I've been able to roll, which is actually pretty solid. But you know, it's one of those things. Upgrading her armor was not really a priority, but I figured if I'm going to keep everyone up to speed, I want to make sure that everyone is right there. So there's that. Her skills are relatively simple, easy to understand. Leader boosts, just cooldown reduction. The only skill I think out of all of this is relatively trash is the max ammo capacity. Temporary increase in magazine capacity for 5 mesoseconds is fucking nothing. That's just my opinion. The cover repair is relatively solid. However, if I'm fighting somebody like Modernity or whatever that can easily just wipe out cover if I don't destroy the core fast enough, then this skill largely becomes useless. The double boost, there's really nothing more that needs to be said about that. It's just more fucking damage. It's just 5 mesoseconds, so not really all that impressive. Get rid of hit rate cube. That way she can actually land more shots, more crit hits. At least her bullet spread isn't everywhere. The shots are a little bit much more tighter grouping, so I like that. Other than that, I don't think I need to say much about that. Leader, it's just Leader, whatever. We all know about it. We all see it. I did replace her. I did replace Pepper with her. Main reason being because Pepper is... I can't roll for shit for Pepper. I can't get hit rate for Pepper. So there's my problem. The other thing is maximum capacity was constantly being rolled for Pepper, which is a big fuck off because she doesn't want more ammo capacity. She's the last one Nikke. And last but not least, Pepper kind of fell off when it comes to damage dealing properties. So there's that. Laplace recently did actually get some treasure upgrades from a little bit of a. I think this was after I did like a mega recruitment. I wound up getting Laplace, so I figured I would just go for treasure. Cool thing about it is that she jumped from. Yeah, she jumped up pretty high. Everything about her is just pretty solid. There's really nothing more to say about it. I mean, treasure makes her incredibly good. I try to get more ammo capacity. I tried doing that beforehand, but just putting effort into Laplace was before treasure was kind of a big waste. I just could not really bother doing so. But I would like to get more charge speed. I think that's actually pretty important. Her skills are pretty solid, in case you don't know what she does. Even beforehand, her skills were absolute trash. A little bit of an explanation. I believe the explosive radius larger remains the same, stacks up to 5 times. The problem was it only lasted for 5 measly seconds, so to give a shit. Her bomber before treasure only affected during the last bullet effect, which is a giant colossal fucking waste. I'm glad they finally corrected that. Somebody actually had a brain blast and realized that was bad. This actually got a little bit much more better. When the parts get destroyed, it's kind of like this ability sucks, but now it also affects the target's body, so that's pretty good. Laplace Buster, this was actually pretty solid. Problem was it lasted for 5 seconds, and you had to invest very heavily to skill 10 in order to actually see some remotely good damage. On top of that, it also relied very heavily on the hero vision to be really good. Also, apparently, Shift Up has the buzzword true damage being thrown in there left and fucking right. I'm pretty sure they don't even know what the hell that means. So, after treasure, got a little bit better. 15 seconds now stacks up, so that way this now synergizes very well with Laplace Buster. This, again, got changed from last bullet effect to fully charged shot, which means charge speed is good. Ammo was always viable. Don't care about the last bullet effect. It's just fucking trash. Who cares? And this didn't have target's body. Now it did, so that's pretty good. This now lasts full 10 seconds. Funny thing is, a fully upgraded skill 10 burst Laplace before treasure was about like 1,000 points of damage or something like that, 1,000%. A treasured Laplace at skill 1 burst had the same percentile damage, close to it, over 1,000% of what a skill 10 burst was. So you get that effect from skill 1 treasure, and then you have to work really hard to get that in non-treasure Laplace, if that makes any sense. This got a significant upgrade for sure. Lasting 10 seconds finally. This is what it should have been. I don't know why it wasn't. Still has Pierce, so that's pretty solid. Normal damage, blah blah blah, buzzword, true damage. Pretty sure Shift Up doesn't know what it means. The only problem with this whole entire thing is, yes, she can't take cover, but if you time your burst correctly and you are confident that you know that she won't take damage, or there's some way to actually protect her in some ways, and you should be good. Either way, this is actually pretty good. Problem is that she needs some form of heals or shield, but I don't think I've ever really run into a problem where she needs to be in cover when it comes to full burst. Maybe during the ultra fight, but other than that, I don't really have too much of an issue. Charge speed is good. Charge speed is awesome. It's a relatively mediocre amount, so yeah. Epinel has been here since who knows how long. I'm not entirely sure why she got transferred from Tetra to Missilis, but it's pretty fucking obvious that she's Tetra. There's actually a video floating around, and I think it's like a beta video where she is actually Tetra. I just don't know why she got pulled over to Missilis. She does have SR doll. That's it. Her skills have, or her overload stats have mostly been rolled into hit rate, which is kind of crazy. I did get more ammo, so that's actually pretty solid. I know a lot of people probably tell me she has a last bullet effect and you shouldn't have given her ammo. Her last bullet effect fucking sucks. That's why I don't care for it. In fact, that critical damage right there, we'll take a look here when we see her skills, is actually going to say a lot. I just don't have crit rate. I should have got crit rate. Just haven't really rolled into it. But yeah, I've mostly just been getting hit rate, which is pretty good because she actually does have reliable damage dealing capabilities, especially getting farther off range. So I like that. And she's probably one of my top damage dealers. She's been one of my top damage dealers for quite some time. So there's that. She's a submachine gunner. So take that to note. Her skills, yeah, as you can plainly see, this last bullet effect is fucking mediocre, if not entirely trash. So I think at max level, I think it's like 6% increase in crit rate and crit damage for 5 seconds. I don't give a flying fuck about this last bullet effect. 5 measly seconds ain't nothing, and critical damage isn't going to work unless crit rate works. And as you believe what they say on the internet, I don't know if it's true or not, but every Nikke has something around a 15% crit rate base rate. 6% on top of 5%, I don't even know if it's additive, is really fucking nothing. And it doesn't even matter if she can shoot and hit a target from a far off distance unless the bullet just happens to just deviate off. So I don't give a shit about this last bullet effect. I still don't. I still think there might be treasure for her in the future, but I don't know. She also has another horrible ability, which she's one of the cursed Nikkes. No, there's a lot of cursed Nikkes in this game that are cursed to have a kill skill and a last bullet effect. She's unfortunately one of those Nikkes that has both. This kill skill sucks mostly because in a boss fight there's not really any kind of minions around, so this skill can probably never be procced unless it's on like Harvester or Lord class Rapture where you fights and stuff like that, which in that case, awesome. Still, it's really nothing. In a general stage clearing, however, this is something. It stacks up 5 times. Before I got rid of Pepper and Guilty, all she needed to do was land 1 hit to get a kill skill activated. Afterwards, Pepper can burst and increase that stack, and Guilty can actually increase that stack after 12 shots, and then later on down that fight, depending how long the stage went, Pepper could either increase the stack or refresh it, and Guilty will always be refreshing that after 12 shots. So that's why that synergy worked. It's really good with those 3. Unfortunately, I don't have those 2 no more, so yeah. I still keep her though, because she's a reliable damage dealer. Also, the AoE capabilities is pretty solid. Having the first skill fully stacked makes the AoE capabilities even more good. But even if I don't have a stack, if I burst with Leader first, then Elegg, and then Epinel, that damage is going to be pretty solid nonetheless. I mean, it should clear out, or if not, heavily wound fodder, and then depending on who I'm going up against, it should kill. So it's been pretty good. I did give her the hit rate cube. She should have a less hard time missing. And then last but not least, Talos. I'm just going to call it Talos. Really, she's practically nowhere near thing. Just call him Talos. It has the SR DAW. Been unlucky with the super successes, but that's quite alright. Maxed out his stuff. Seriously, that's what I've been doing. I've been definitely putting in some effort for Kilo. Definitely wanted some more ammo. I think that was very important. I wanted to make sure that I upgraded the abilities that increase Talos' overall HP, because his skills actually does really require that I have more HP. In fact, he's almost got the same amount of HP as Diesel. Wow. But anyway, I think I went too far with that. But the primary focus was max ammo capacity, then attack, and then crit damage, and then crit rate. Crit rate is kind of a low priority, mostly because some machine gunners have the amazing capabilities of being able to reliably let a crit hit. So that's actually pretty good. Out of the, I want to say 700 rounds or something like that he has, one of those is going to be a crit hit. So it's going to hit the core, so that's relatively perfect. So you don't need to worry about hit rate. Unfortunately, Talos' skills kind of suck. This is kind of on par with how Rapunzel Pure Grace got shit on totally. But still pretty good. Entering the battle, create a shield based on the maximum HP, so that's actually pretty solid. When using the burst skill, not in itself, just creates another shield, so that's awesome. I've been trying to focus more on skill 1 and then burst skill, and then later on I'll try to focus more on this, but this is actually relatively okay. The main problem is that Talos has like no taunting abilities. The repairing or creating a shield is really one of the most shittiest things ever, because you have to enter into full burst with Kilo in order to actually get that shield back. You can repair the shield over time with the amount of shots that you land, but if these shields happen to kind of go, it sucks. It really does. And Talos heavily relies on having a shield for a burst, because if you don't have a shield, then this first part of it does not proc, which sucks. So if you don't have a shield, you just increase your overall max ammo HP. As far as I'm aware of, if you are using that max HP while out of shield status or nano coating status, it should work like I think it does, where it just increases overall maximum HP, which should restore HP plus increase HP, and then when that HP falls off, you should still retain that restored HP. As far as I'm aware of, it doesn't say that increases overall max HP without restoring HP, so that's a positive. I try to actually enter into battle, and I try to burst with Kilo just to get that AoE blast as soon as I possibly can, so that way it can just wipe out fodder. Talos does actually wipe out fodder better than Epinel. That means it gives Epinel some chance to get a kill in, build up some stacks, and then possibly be used for AoE clearing. But depending on general stage clearing, I'm more than likely already bursting with Laplace second, so that way I can just finish off the stage. It's usually just a 2 burst round. If it's more than 3, then that means that I'm on the current powered, in which case it's kind of a little bit difficult to actually progress. But that's whatever. Overall, the main thing about Kilo is that machine gunners have range, machine gunners can hit the core, machine gunners have DPS capabilities of wiping out fodder, so you can't really go wrong with that. It becomes very important later on down the line, at least from what I've noticed, that you kind of really want range, because targets are a little bit much more farther off in the distance, and you need range. You just need range. Unless you're just going with the setup that's like general bullshit of let's follow the meta, then disregard this. But I like Kilo. Machine gunners rock. Giant robot. Like, it's just awesome. I like Kilo a lot. Cube is wingman. I would give the Bastion Cube. I think originally I did give the Bastion Cube, but other people make better use of it, I think. Once you get well over a certain amount of ammo, you don't really need Bastion Cube. You just kind of want to have ammo already put into it. Not saying Bastion Cube is terrible for machine gunners. It's just that I don't care too much for the Bastion Cube. I really fucking don't. It's a very overhyped cube. But anyway, that's the Missilis Crew. For the time being, I think in due time, I'm going to replace her with Flora. And then from there, it's going to more than likely look like something like this, where the way Flora works is the 2 people right beside her will be healed, and Elegg is always the victim of damage, and so is Kilo. And then having some form of heals, which I really need. it's going to be pretty solid. And then got that little buzzword right there for true damage. Woo! So that'll probably wind up actually working for Laplace, because Laplace does have some sort of true damage bullshit going on. But other than that, this team composition is kind of a work in progress, and I would really like to actually eventually focus on that. I think it'd be pretty solid. I don't have that replaced right now. I do realize that I can actually go ahead and just rip away these skills from her and give them to Flora. The main problem is I still need to upgrade Flora's armor. And the fact that Epinel is max limit break, has high bond rating, I can't believe you don't have... Oh, that's why. Okay, I'll fix that. Wow. But anyway, in due time, I'll probably will eventually replace Epinel with Flora. Unless Epinel happens to get treasure, but I don't think she will. But anyway, that's my Missilis Crew. I thought I'd go ahead and share it with somebody in case anybody out there was wondering how it works. It works pretty well. It does. Again, there's range. We have range, we have explosive range, deals with the cluster of ads, range. We have AoE capabilities, cooldown reduction, damage boost, cover repair. We just don't have heals. So in due time, I will put Flora back in. I will put Flora in there, and I'll be kind of reduced down to AoE blasting and then damage. The main problem with this is that if Kilo's shield should happen to go down, then that's kind of actually be a little bit of an issue. But I'm willing to actually work around something like that. So there you go. That's my Missilis Crew. For the time being, anyway. It's just a very wishy-washy crew.